another favourite film to be added, Margin Call. Directed by J.C. Chandor and starring Kevin Spacey, Simon Baker, Jeremy Irons and Zachary Quinto. Oh, but there's also Stanley Tucci. What a terrific cast. This Oscar-nominated film for Best Original Screenplay takes place around 2008, the time when the financial crisis was occurring. And Chandor's film, even 15 years later, has a cultural relevance and significant resonance which goes beyond, well, typical dramas. There have been a lot of films which have covered the financial sector, from Wall Street with Michael Douglas to Boiler Room with Vin Diesel and Ben Affleck. Even Ewan McGregor in Rogue Trader was very good. But perhaps the best of these, I would say, is probably the documentary feature Inside Job, narrated by Matt Damon, and is absolutely essential viewing. And then we have the film behind me, Margin Call. And I remember, much like September 5, reading the script and wanting to see the film, but being especially surprised by just how great the film was and how natural it was. That is Margin Call, not so much September 5. But the way that Chandor and his team put this story together and just create a sense of time, place, character, motivation, sense of conscience. I think Kevin Spacey gives one of his absolute best performances of his career in this movie as Sam Rogers. And the decision he has to make regarding whether to, well, go along with this idea of releasing the assets and stuff to do with this company, NBS. And then you've got Jeremy Irons as the kind of bigwig who rolls in on a helicopter and he says, be first, be smarter or cheat. And in the end they make the ultimate choice. It's a film which ultimately goes beyond the standard, I would say, for dramas of this sort. It definitely taps into a sense of what the individual is working against in the system, and how very often it's the decisions that we make which, both for the company and for ourselves, create this tension, this conflict. It was also brilliantly explored in Michael Mann's The Insider, this sense of, wanting to do what's right for yourself, but also, being tied to the company, as it were. And so, this is now favourite film number 96. I've seen Margin Call many times over the years, and every time I do, I see something new in it. Stanley Tucci was absolutely brilliant in this movie, and Paul Bettany. There's a kind of almost good and evil side to Bettany which comes through in this. He has many quirks and little sort of like hints at what his character's all about. I mean, the scene where he's talking about his salary, 2.5 million, and what that goes on, and you're like, gosh, it goes that quickly. Amazing film, and I still to this day believe that Chandor got robbed of Best Original Screenplay. They ended up giving it to Midnight in Paris, Woody Allen film, despite the fact that Allen, for many years now, no longer attends the ceremony, so probably a waste of time. We're not going to get acceptance speech from a guy who isn't going to turn up. But anyway, that's be that as it may. Margin Call, an exemplary Wall Street drama, and like Inside Job and Rogue Trader, it's just one of the absolute best films of its kind. And it's accessible as well. I mean, on more than one occasion, on one occasion you have Spacey who says, they're looking at something technical on the screen. Just tell me in plain English what it means. So not only does it have a sense of the complex lexicon of finance, but also knowing how to make that accessible to an audience is very, very well honed in this. And Irons has another line, probably one of my favourites in the film, where he's trying to get the gist of what's going on and says, talk as you would to a small child or a golden retriever. It wasn't brains that got me here, I can assure you of that. I love Margin Call. It's a great film. And 3 parts of it that initially bugged me no longer do. This film has stood the test of time, and it's a classic, an absolute favourite film. I am Richard Jack Smith. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.